Hello, everyone. It is Slump Day, and you're very welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's me, Rebel, with the main men, Yaba and Mr. B, and you're very welcome to our Wednesday show. Gentlemen, before I come to you, just because we missed him yesterday, I want to say hello to Stephanie Griffith, to I Am Titanium, to Andrew, to Maddie Bassett, and to Bart. Is there anybody else that I have missed? Oh, King Dino's in the chat. Very welcome everyone. We do have the comments today, so enough respect. Yaba, Mr. B, how are we?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to be back. 9 o'clock. You can set your watch by us, even if our watch is probably about 4 or 5 minutes late. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, everything's okay in my end. Day of work and the day of thinking about Man United Football Club and avoiding people that I know want to talk football with me. I was walking down the street and today, and this guy I know he's a Liverpool fan, and whenever I see him, he wants to stop me in the street and we talk football. He said, "Yeah, you go." He didn't see me, so I crossed the road, and you know when you're looking like that, I blinkered. I could feel him looking, but I just carried on walking like that as if to say I didn't see him. That's how bad it is right now to be a Man United fan. I have to cross the road and avoid people just because I don't want to hear any kind of garbage.
Mr. B, do you feel the same?
The season's finished. We're all glad it's finished. We're now in that period of, I don't know what the word is. It's just nothing. It's just nothingness. We've got 2.5 months with no football. Yes, the World Club Cup is on. I won't be watching it. I won't have any interest in it at all. I don't care what the trophy looks like. I don't care how much money they get. I don't care the players who are playing. I don't care if a man scores 27 goals a game. I'm not bothered. I have no interest. All I want is the Premier League to start again. I want the pictures to come out so I can depress myself and try and work out where we're going to get our first 5 wins from. I'll keep hammering in this job. This is just that boring transfer. That transfer window period where, we're just any hope we're hanging on to at the moment. You know what I mean? Cunha's in, great. Mbemo may well be in, may well not be in. We think he's going to be in. But it's just, I know, you shouldn't wish your life away. That's wrong. But I just want the Prem to start again now so that we can right the wrongs of last season. We had so many wrongs. We had so many wrongs.
Absolutely. Actually, interestingly though, I did want to actually mention that apparently the Club World Cup is an absolute disaster at the moment because they've only sold 25,000 tickets to the first game. It's been bare doo-doo for FIFA and it's been blown up in their face. But as much as I'd love to yabber on and complain about FIFA, let's get to the main event. So let's add this in here. Let's bring this comment down and then let's put this onto full screen. So Casemiro has labeled this season as a success. So he's speaking about what he was saying with Amran. I don't think there's been such a big relapse in my individual aspect, but when the club isn't playing well, changes are needed. I spoke to Amran and he told me that he was more a question of choosing to play and I should wait for the opportunity. Of course, he was open with me. He said it was his choice, nothing against me. I had no choice but to carry on working and wait for the opportunity. When I played, I lived up to what he asked. So that is actually the second part of the quote. So let me just bring this part up as well.
So you've read it backwards?
I've read it backwards because... do you know what? I swear to God, this system is an absolute madness. For those of you out there in YouTube land and Twitter land, we are streaming live on Twitter now as well.
Oh, for
Um,
fuck's sake.
this system has been giving myself, Yabba, and Mr. B an absolute headache on the noggin for the last couple of days. But let me see if I can actually get the right one up because oh my god. Okay, here we go. So this year has been one of the most important years of my career, if not the most. Even because of the coach's choice, Ruben Amrin, I was left out of the options. But I never stopped working. That's my great success. Everybody wants to talk about titles, victories, and big games, but when you don't play and you manage to change the mind of the coach who arrives and doesn't play you, you end up coming back. And not and now you're being praised by the coach who at first practically didn't count on you. If it was one of my most successful years. There are things that end up happening internally. I'm one of those people who, when things happen internally, I don't say too much. So, is he Rocky Balboa? Did he come in to Eye of the Tiger and proclaim dominance?
Do you want me to go first? I'm not going to say he claimed dominance. Yeah, he got playing time. Granted, he got himself back into Amrin's good books, but the Premier League he still wasn't great. You know, European football, we have no problem with how he performed, but he said he's had a successful season. I get it. I do understand it. And I understand where he's coming from. And maybe it was a question that was asked to him, and that was the answer that he gave. But we still finished 15th in the league. So as much as he had a successful season, how much game time is he going to play next season is going to be more what I'm interested in. If Amrin trusts him, I have no problem with Amrin trusting him. But we've seen that the Premier League is a different animal to Europa. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year.
Yabba.
Yeah. When I heard the headline, I thought, oh no, what's he gone and said now? But when you read it, it makes more sense. He's talking about success, and his big success is not referring to the team's performance. Is referring to, as he says there, not being favoured by the manager, being left out of the team, and working hard, putting his head down, working hard, getting back into the team, and proving the manager wrong. That's a big success. Now, we've all played football. I mean, I've had some managers who've written me off completely, and I can never win them over, no matter what I do. And there's been some that I've managed to sort of turn it around and win them over. So it's really important to be playing football and to be in favour with the manager, because the manager is the one who picks the team. And Casemiro said all the awards he's won in the past, all those Champions League, all those trophies he's won in the past, is not really comparable to this kind of success, which he sort of says is to do with coming back, bouncing back. He's on the downside side of his career. He's managed to show some characteristics to the manager, turn it around. He's never been in a situation before, and he feels boosted by that. And don't forget, he's talking from Brazil with the Brazil national squad, where he's back in the team, and that's because he's turned it around again. He was out of the team, wasn't he, at one point? So he's got himself back in favour in the Brazilian national team. He must be really happy about that, and he's just airing his views about it. Let's not get it twisted. It's nothing to do with Man United finish 16th or the performance of the team. It's to do with personally turning it around from being kicked to the curb and being discarded like Super Ted was, to suddenly coming back and into the fold and having the manager pick you as the first team again. That's brilliant. It's nice to see. But I do agree with Mr. B. I mean, Mr. B says about there was, we watched games. He was very good in Europe. I think he played something like 45, 50 games last season. He had 3 assists, 3 or 4 goals as well. It's not bad for this position that he plays, but he towards the end of the season, he was like a mainstay for us. He was someone we could rely on, dependable in there. We bought Agate in maybe as a replacement, but it turned out that Casemiro wasn't ready yet. He wasn't ready yet. So to step aside. And sometimes when you're not in favour, it's better to put your head down, work hard, not feel sorry for yourself, and take accountability. It's really important. I've learned that lesson today. Elsewhere, relate to football. Don't,
Sorry, but I think your mic is after going a bit funny.
Did you press a button?
Hello?
That's better.
That's better. What did you press?
I didn't press a thing. It's this damn site that we're on, man. Yeah, like I was saying, there's always lessons to be learned in life. And hearing this from Casemiro, I had a similar experience today where people don't take accountability for things, and they don't want to accept their wrongdoing, so they point fingers. That's the worst thing to do. Take accountability, put your head down, work harder, and come back and prove people wrong that way. That's the best way to do it.
Absolutely. There's definitely lessons to be learned. So before we move on from Casemiro, what is the ideal outcome for ye this summer with regards to Casemiro? Given obviously yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry, you didn't even finish your question. Sorry.
Here, yeah, I'll take straightforward enough coming. You want him sold? Yeah, but do you agree?
No, most certainly not. I think you were talking about a guy with experience, and when you see that character, like we're saying with the article, what he's been saying, that's character, and he's got the experience as well. So just having him around the club, I think that's a good thing to do. I know he's on a heavy wage.
Good.
I know he's on a heavy wage, and that might, be a good argument to get rid of him. But if you're talking about a balance of a squad, you can't just get rid of Casemiro all willy-nilly just because of finances. You've got to think what value he offers to the team, and he proved it last year. So players like that, like Harry Maguire, who's kind of bounce back ability, showed the character and leadership to come back again after everyone wrote him off. Casemiro as well. These are key players. These are players you want to have around who will be the example, so you don't have this young generation of people whining, and why me, and being Karens and that kind of thing. You need to have that example around the club of when chips are down, we dig down deep and we work our way back, and we resist, all the onslaught and the abuse and everything, and come back and fight, put your head down, work hard in training with a smile in your face, and come back even stronger. I like to have that Casemiro around the club next season.
Just a few comments there in the chat. Overhead Kick TV, he says, big up, guys. Andrew says the wage is his problem. And then we also have Lucas Talks Ball saying, you okay, boys? So big up to everyone in the chat. So before we go on to the second topic, I'm going to give you your 30-second red top / tabloid news garbage roundup. We're being linked with the League One Nice keeper, according to Ben Jacobs. Marcin Bulkin, our resident goalkeeper, Cullum, who's on holidays, went, no, hell no, absolutely not, never, no. And he kind of said it pretty much about 50 times in the chat, if I remember correctly. Jadon Sancho, he is going to leave Manchester United, according to one of the red tops, but Borussia Dortmund is totally off the table. Sam Murray, a defender in the youth side, penned an emotional farewell as he left Old Trafford. Real Betis are looking for another loan deal with an option to buy for Anthony. And
I think they're taking a piss. They haven't even said with an obligation to buy. You know what I mean? They're saying with an option to buy again. They're not even serious, man. They're not even serious. They're just holding up people's traffic, man. I would have liked to have known that they could have gone in there and got the deal done, but don't dilly-dally with them. You know what I mean? If they can't do it and they can't do the money, get them out, man. Get them out.
Absolutely. And finally, according to another one of the tabloids, Arsenal are allegedly in very advanced talks with Manchester United target Victor Gyökeres. However, that, I reckon, is complete and utter donkey poop.
Why?
They're going for Sesko.
Yeah, but so you don't think they've had any talks with Gyökeres? You think they're going to hang all of their eggs on the Sesko basket, yeah?
I think
so, you got to remember, this deal hasn't been done. We haven't made any bids. All we're hearing, he wants to come to us. But we don't know what's in his head. They could be feeding us all the stuff that they want. You know what I mean? All right, no, I'm not going to say we are lapping it up. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not, but we don't know what the situation is. You know what I mean? They've got to cover themselves. And look, at the end of the day, I still don't understand why Gyökeres would choose us over Arsenal. They could have, their team's virtually set. Whether or not the issue that I'm hearing is that Havertz is first choice. Is going to be first choice at Arsenal. So maybe that's why they're not. Maybe that's why they're not looking at the Gyökeres side of things. Look, I don't know.
Actually, before we move on from Gyökeres, you did post an interesting quote from Sporting CP president. He's saying that Sporting will not sell Victor Gyökeres for 60 plus 10. So he's laying down the gauntlet to Gyökeres, who basically told them, PFO, I will not play for your club again yesterday. He's saying, well, unless sporting terms are met, you are not going to be going anywhere. So he's kind of calling his bluff, isn't he?
Who's calling whose bluff? The sporting director's calling Gyökeres, because he's saying basically he's blaming it on the agent, because obviously the agent's released maybe certain information, but if they haven't written it down and it's not on contract, then they can charge what they want. What's a gentleman's agreement? What's that? Sure. It's like when you make a sportsman's bet, no? You bet with your little finger. You know what I mean? It don't mean shit. So yeah, fine. He wants to come to us and he wants to get sold, but they've got a price that they want. Obviously, it's not the price that they're saying wasn't met in the meeting or whatever. But the CEO, he's vexed. He's vexed and he's come out swinging. He said he's been away for 3 days and he's been listening to all of this garbage. So, he wants the best deal for his club. United ain't going to 70 million. So they're going to have to start looking at some. They're going to have to, if that's the price that they're asking, they're going to have to start looking. They're going to have to start looking somewhere else.
I assumed that it was there was a set fee for him to leave if he wanted to go to another club. It was 65 million. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
That's what's been put out there.
Right.
Obviously now he's come and said nothing go on like that. There ain't nothing. He wants his money. He wants all of his money. What he was saying by all accounts was that they said that he won't go for over 100 million euros. Whether the price was set at 65 in the meeting, I mean, Gyökeres is saying he's got proof. It sounds like so it's going to get messy. It's probably going to get messy. But
if you look at it from the sporting point of view, they've had the best success in like generation. Even with Amorim leaving, he still continued to win the league, and the fans must be buzzing. And this guy is like the figurehead of their success. So they want to keep the fans on board and everything else. So I understand that the fans will be gutted. How do you replace someone like that who's got that sort of goal record? It's going to be hard for them to attract players. It's not like they can pick the best players in Europe. They're the sort of side, as big as they are in Portugal, they have to go and get the best Brazilian or the up-and-coming Brazilian players or surf, Portuguese league for the next big thing. So that's how it works. Even Benfica, probably the biggest club in Portugal, that's how they operate. They generate a lot of money to bring players in from South America, Portuguese or Spanish-speaking players, and showcase them and then sell them on. You saw what they did with the Liverpool striker, how much money they got for him. We were going to pay that as well. And the big one for me was how much Atletico Madrid paid for João Neves, who still is not failed.
Felix.
Felix, sorry. Flat to deceive, since he's had that huge price tag, hundreds plus million, So this is how Portuguese clubs do make their money. So we understand why they might be sort of digging their heels in a bit, but hopefully, the deal will get over the line as soon as possible. And with Amorim in charge, maybe he can soften the blow and have a little phone call with his former chief, and just say, look, let's make a deal. Let's have a little peace and parliamentary proceedings here, and let the deal get done.
Can I just say a quick shout out to our 92 viewers on Twitter? If you're liking what you're seeing, please do hop over to the Man United Agenda YouTube. Hit us a cheeky little subscribe. Hit us a like on the video because it really does help the channel. And if you would come over, that we would greatly appreciate it. And as for those wonderful loyal viewers in the chat, please do keep giving us those likes and subscribes. We do appreciate it. But gentlemen, let's get into a bit of a fun topic. Obviously, we've seen Florian Wirtz going for a madness to Liverpool in recent times. And we've been listening over the years about Manchester United this, Manchester United that, where'd your money this, where'd your money that. But let's, to quote Yaba, get an eye test in on the actual rankings of the most expensive transfers ever. They're on page 1. There's no sign anywhere of Manchester United Football Club. You will see that Florian Wirtz will actually go in there at number 3 above Philip Coutinho. So Dembele, João Felix, Fernandes, Eden Hazard, they're all ahead. Now, let's go to the next page. Griezmann, Jack Grealish, I'm still not seeing any Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo, Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo, Jude Bellingham, Romelu Lukaku, the Chelsea one. And there at number 15, which is now number 16, is Paul Pogba. So is the press pushing a narrative that's absolute poppycock? Gentlemen, is the question I'd like to ask you.
Well, interesting now. I was just looking at the first page, the leaderboard of transfers, and they all seem to be done, not in the 2020s, but 2019s, you know. It was just going back. So obviously the Neymar one, that was amazing, wasn't it? Bought out from Barca. Obviously, you know, Spanish clubs, they all have minimum fee releases. And when you price at the time, it was like, right, we got Neymar, this is Barcelona saying, we got Neymar, 220 million. Yeah, we relaxed with that. And then suddenly PSG said, cha-ching, triggered it. And suddenly it's been bought to come through. So, oh my God. Yeah, suddenly this damn thing. Suddenly it's come through. And they can't just turn around and say no anymore. It's triggered. So that's an amazing, till this day. I mean, look, it's 2017, 2018. That transfer of 222 million is amazing. And the fact that the club could pay that for a player. And Neymar, I mean, for me, with all the talent he had, I mean, since he went to PSG, I think that was a bad move for his career, because while he was at Barca, he was doing the business and he was, you know, he was rocking it. When he went to PSG, wasn't really the main man anymore, as in, you know, yeah, main man in the French league, but you need to be playing for the biggest clubs. And I think he will look back at that move and say, despite getting all the money and everything, it didn't benefit him as a legendary player and what he could have been. But yeah, you look at the players on that list. João Felix, like I said,
flop. Flops. They were all flops. I'm looking at the list. Yeah. All right, Enzo Fernandez is still at Chelsea, but that list of that, look, Neymar, he flopped at PSG.
Where's
Mbappe? He probably didn't flop at PSG. Coutinho flop. Dembele, this is the Barcelona Dembele, right?
He's sold. He's not there anymore, is he?
Yeah, no, but was he good at Barcelona? He was always injured, wasn't he? Obviously, João Felix stinks the place out. Enzo Fernandez, we don't know, and Hazard wasn't good at Real Madrid.
Good point. Half of those players there, Rebel, are not very successful. So, is it always worth spending that sort of money on thinking you're going to get a great player, a legendary player who's going to be historic at your club? It doesn't always work out that way. The only one I would say where I think has been value for money in the Premiership is Declan Rice. A lot of people
get that page up, Rebel.
Yeah, Declan Rice. He came from West Ham after taking West Ham to the first European trophy in years. Turns up at Arsenal. I think he's been value for money. But then
enlarge that, Rebel. I can't see a fucking thing. Sorry, man.
Yes, but when you look at this list as well, you also see, and as Mr. B was saying, players that have flat to believe to achieve something. You know,
Jack Grealish. Ooh, yeah, Jack Grealish. What we saying?
Flat to deceive, I say.
Cristiano Ronaldo. to Juve, no, it's not a flat. Then Caicedo was coming into his own. Jude still got time. So this was Chelsea. Hold on, this was who did it? Is this from us?
No, that was from Inter.
And Pogba. Okay, yeah, Pogba wasn't Pogba. Pogba, yeah, probably a flop as well. Bloody hell! It's not always about the money, is it?
Exactly.
But I do want to ask a question that came up from Brush. Do you think Graham Souness will keep the same energy with Florian Wirtz if he has the same troubles as Paul Pogba?
No, he's not black.
Tell them, Mr. B, that is true. Very true. Yeah, it's only when you see examples like that double standards when you realise what someone's maybe true agenda is. And they can't even help it. They don't even know it themselves. They wouldn't believe that they would have that sort of spirit. But it seems it's true. I think I agree with you, Mr. P. Not to get controversial or anything like that, but that's my feeling on it too. I think sometimes you have to see the double standards when they come along, and people won't say anything about him, but they will say something about someone else, like Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba was let's get it right. I don't know about you three. I know his reputation's soiled, obviously, because of drugs and other antics that he's gone through. But this is a World Cup winner and one of the most talented midfield players we've seen this century. And I'm saying that as you know, I'm not a huge fan of his or whatever, but I have to say what I see. He's a very talented player. So to give him pelters and expect the world from him, I just think it's a bit unfair. He was a talented player, one of the best midfielders this century, and just treated a bit unfairly, in my opinion.
Just going to say a quick few hellos in the chat. I am getting a few barbs about my cherry picking of the spending from some of our resident Liverpool fans, aka Andrew and Bart.
Andrew's not a Liverpool fan,
isn't he?
No, Andrew supports United. The only troll we got in here is Bart.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. I thought he was a Liverpool fan, but
disrespect.
They're all agreeing with you that a certain Mr. Souness is a bell end. But gentlemen, I don't have any more stuff to get your teeth out apart from Angel Gomez, formerly of Manchester United, has now signed on a free transfer to Marseille. So I would like to wish him well.
That's a really good move. Really good move. I really love this player. I think he's a great little footballer. And you want to see him shine and produce the goods, you know. We had, when was it? It was Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle, Diamond Lights. They both went to France and really performed out there.
Diamond Lights.
Yeah, do you remember that? But they went out to France and had some of the most. If you ask Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle, don't talk about Joey Barton, but when you ask them to, when they went to France, they said they loved it and they performed some of their best football out there. And I know he didn't really get in the side at Lille, but I hope Angel Gomez shines at Marseille. They're in the Champions League next season, as Lille were, but he didn't get enough game time, I feel. A bit of lack of respect, because when they did sign him, they flung him out on loan to Portugal for a couple of years. So it's just like, he's just a B team player, whatever. But he's got a lot of value. And if he finds the right manager and somebody who can play and get the best out of him, we will be seeing a prime Angel Gomez coming into his prime years, really performing on the big stage. I really hope, like you said, Rebel, that he does the business. And obviously playing with Mason Greenwood as well.
Yes. But, gentlemen, I suppose to summarize, we've talked about Casemiro and his definition of a successful season. And I suppose individually speaking, he did fight his way back. We went through the headlines and we had a bit of a fun run at looking at those top spending. But, you know, before I do go, I want to say hello to Vincent Bullock. He has been doing some graphics for us in the background as well, so much appreciated. Bloody hell, Rebel. You've only gone for a few months and forgetting all the people that are here laughing out loud. Here, you know, I suppose I'm entitled to pull on Monday every now and again. But, gentlemen...
Oi! Oi! You know what? Rebel. I'm glad. This is why we call Rebel. He is a bit sneaky sometimes. You have to keep on guard. I had my guard down there, and he caught me with a cheap shot. But don't worry. Watch tomorrow, guys, and I will have something to catch him out. No doubt.
Gentlemen, it was a fun 30 minutes. To those on Twitter, good night. To those on YouTube, good night. And we hope to see you all tomorrow night. But that is it from the Man United Agenda.